something crosses the road. It's skeletal like, fleshy, and it stands up, and then it like kind of just almost like leaps.
They look back and they see one. Clear as day. It walked 5 feet away from my audio recorder. We just saw a Bigfoot. Holy crap.
I've been pinched, I've been tapped on the shoulder, I've had my name hollered, a hand came up underneath my left arm. I said, little son of a bitch tried to get me. That was the time that I decided you don't sleep inside that building.
Did you see that?
The cow cur, it's big, it's white, and it runs faster than any man could ever run. And it would lean out behind the tree. And that's why we never go out, because the booger will get you.
Lucas.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to stay warm. I was just telling Luke how I slid down the driveway today on my butt all the way down to the road.
Oh.
So, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time out to talk with us today.
Yeah, I don't really do anything, so this is the one part of my day that I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the paranormal?
I really got into it I really started getting into it through Sam and Colby. They're really famous paranormal YouTubers. And my best friend Alyssa, she's a medium. So when her and I ended up meeting, when we got really close, she ended up telling me that I had like a specific like aura that she wanted to check out. So that's when I really started getting into it more and more. I mean, that's really how I got into it. Ever since, I've been watching a lot of paranormal videos on YouTube, some like horror stuff on Netflix that's kind of related towards ghost stories and stuff. I'm really into it.
That's awesome. What was your favorite place that Sam and Colby visited? Because I just got done watching the series there.
I really liked their most recent one with the Farrar School.
Okay.
And when they did Hell Week with the Conjuring House, I've watched that one so many times. I could tell you everything they said, line for line.
Yeah, did I watch that one? Yeah, I think I did. I like whenever they went out with like Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo. I think they were at The Shining.
Yeah, I
hotel.
like that one.
Yeah. So
The Stanley Hotel.
yeah, that's it.
The Witch's Forest was also really good too. I like that one as well.
Yeah, where's that at?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
So what kind of places have you been to?
I have only been to Dead Man's Hollow by myself and like my little group of friends, like Alyssa. Me and her went with her boyfriend because he drove us there. We went there for 2 nights. We went one night and then went the next. We actually got a good bit of stuff there too. It was actually really insane. We had to like run out of there the one night. It got crazy.
Dead Man's Hollow is a crazy place. I've been there a couple of times, and I've had some pretty crazy activity going there.
I've never been there. I think I've heard about it or possibly read about it, like one of those local haunted local stories. You know what I mean? Like the books you find in the library. Where's it at?
It's kind of near Pittsburgh, PA.
Okay.
Find the exact thing and I can send it to Luke whenever I have a moment.
McKeesport.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to make it up there. Like, what happened that night? You kind of left us hanging there for a minute. What happened that night?
So the first night we went, it wasn't really anything too crazy. We went because there's multiple different routes. We went to the ballpark the second night, and then the first night we went to the woods area where the waterfall is. when we went to the waterfall, we don't have like equipment, so we were kind of trying to use these apps on our phones to try to really just kind of figure things out. And we actually did get a good bit of information that night, but I brought my incense with me so we could be protected and whatnot, and I ended up losing it when it was secured in my pocket, and I haven't touched that pocket. I was like, where in the world did my incense go? So we had all of our flashlights on looking for it, and it was in a tree.
Wait.
We were like, how did this get into a tree? And so we got it down. We start walking back towards the waterfall, and we hear something running, like not an animal type of running, like a person. And we heard giggling, and we were like, there's no way there's a little kid in here. Like there's no possible way. Like, where's its parents? And so we end up going back because it was pretty late. It was probably 10:30 at this point, and I needed to get home. And so we didn't look anything up. We just left, and we went back the next night around 5 o'clock. Left at like 11. This is when we went to the ballpark. Oh my goodness. We went to the ruins. That's where everything started going down. We ended up using our incense and everything for protection beforehand and after the fact. And while we were there, our equipment on our phones was actually like really giving us good information. And Alyssa was using my phone while I was recording, because we were recording everything for her dad's YouTube channel. And she ended up getting a really sharp pain in her left eye. And she ended up dropping my phone onto a rock. I still have the crack in my phone to this day. And when that happened, the little spirit talker we had on her phone said shot, and then right afterwards it said eye. And then she ended up getting a really sharp pain in her left eye. I was trying to get her on here with me so she could talk about it herself too. But when that happened, we all started freaking out. It was kind of crazy. We were walking through the woods. As soon as we got to the ruins, everything went downhill. There was this part of it. It was like a box, and it had a devil spray painted into it. We didn't walk into it because we were like, that's pretty sketchy. We don't want to deal with all of that. But I ended up going into it with the spirit talker because it was like going to the box. And I'm a risk taker. So I was like, you know what? If I get possessed or something, it's okay. I'll deal with it. No problem. And then it started saying stuff like death. And then it ended up saying my wife and kids. So we were like, wife and kids? Like, what necessarily happened here? So we did a little bit of research, and we figured out that a man and a woman ended up going there with their kids, and the wife ended up shooting her husband in the left eye, which is right where Alyssa had that really sharp pain.
Oh, wow.
And when we were leaving, we were walking down the trail, and there was something following us. Me and Alyssa kept turning around because we could feel its presence there, but we couldn't necessarily see it, but we just knew, like gut feeling, it was right behind us. So we started booking it. Like we were running down this trail and everything. And we get to the entry of the ballpark, and we hear a scream coming from behind us. At this point, everyone should be in bed. No one should be out. But it was like, how do I explain it? Like a screech, not human-like. So we turn around to see if we can catch a look at it, and we see like this shadow figure with glowing white eyes.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Let me ask you something. What do you think of Bigfoot?
Like, do I believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah.
I do think Bigfoot is a possibility to exist, especially with all of the stories. But I also feel like it's one of those things where people can just drag it out and make it so bizarre to where it's unbelievable, but there's still points where it's like, this can be very believable and it could happen.
Right. The reason I ask is because like a couple of those things that you had mentioned kind of aligns with like experiences people have had with Bigfoot.
That's not a big enough place, I think, where, I mean, it's possible, but I have to look at the map again, but I'm not sure, because I've been there a few times, and I never thought of Bigfoot out there.
No?
Because I've been there whenever we were walking back from the same place you were, and we had footsteps behind us.
Really?
Yeah. That's a common thing that happens whenever you're walking back to your cars.
Really? That's
Mhm.
wild. Yeah, I think I would have left after the children giggling.
Yeah, the one thing I forgot to mention about the first night was when we were coming back from coming back from the woods area, going back to the car.
Mm-hmm.
There was this man walking with his dog. But the dog, we shine our flashlight. The dog was reflective. Not just his eyes, like the entire dog. No vest on it, no nothing.
Oh,
It was just
weird.
like for a split second, it was just shining. The man walks past us, says hi, we say hello, we get into the car, we're watching him because as soon as we get to the car, he immediately turns around and picks up his pace towards us. So we're freaking out. We get in the car, lock the doors, lights are off. We're getting ready to leave. I'm watching him through the window. He just disappears. He's just gone. We're pulling out of the parking lot and going down the street. He's already halfway down the road. We have no idea how he already got, and his dog wasn't there anymore.
That's wild.
And we look it up, and apparently that guy was the owner of Dead Man's Hollow's, I think, nephew or son.
Mm-hmm.
And that he walked his dog in that area.
It's a very eerie place.
Yeah. So it's not like out. Is it like more rural than it is like way out there?
No, it's not way out there. It's like a little nature reserve type of thing, like a little state park or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to make it up there.
Mm-hmm. It's by the Allegheny or Monongahela River, one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was by the Monongahela.
Because you can walk through these big terracotta pipes, and it takes you down to the river.
Oh.
And we were down there one night, and we had I want to say it was an arborist, and we had it going, and we said, "Where are we?" And it clear as day came across and said McKeesport.
Oh wow.
That was interesting because that's not a common name.
Yeah.
But and it came across and said McKeesport.
On the Ovilus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a legend where like someone actually saw someone hanging in a tree, like walking down the path. That's why they call it Dead Man's Hollow.
Oh wow.
It's cool.
That is cool. Have you had other experiences there?
Not necessarily at Dead Man's Hollow, but a couple years ago, I have this chair. It's a small little pink chair. I've had it like my entire life. And when I met Alyssa, our very first sleepover at my house, she told me something was in that chair. I was like, "What are you talking about? Nothing's in the chair except for like 2 of my hoodies because I like to throw my clothes around my room, like any teenager does." And she was like, "There's something sitting in your chair. I can't necessarily like explain it to you without freaking you out." Because this is whenever I was freshly new to this stuff, like beginning of high school. And she was just trying to explain it to me. And I was like, "Well, how do I get rid of it?" Because her family is really into all this paranormal stuff. Like her family descends from witches and all this other cool stuff. So she was telling me I need to get rid of it because it was negative. It was one of the entities, like shadow figures with red eyes. And she told me that's not good for me to have attached to me because of the fact it could be weighing me down mentally and physically, and that could not be a good thing whatsoever. And I was like, okay, well, how do we get rid of it? And she told me this one saying to recite. I don't remember what it is, but I recited it. And then she told me, like, as she was watching it just like wither away, it was like screaming and grabbing at its face. I was like, that's pretty freaky. And so we're sitting on the floor, and since she's a medium, she knows how to do a bunch of I don't really know the word. I think you know what I'm trying to get at. I don't know the word. I can't think of it. But she did a palm reading on me. She made me relax, close my eyes, think of a number. And then whenever I told her that number, she was able to tell me exactly what I was thinking about. Like everything. I thought of the number, I think it was like 652. And she told me everything that was going on in my life from whenever I was born until her and I met. I was like, how do you even know all this stuff? And she was like, it was in the numbers. I was dumbfounded. How can you tell that much of a person just by 3 numbers?
Yeah.
And that entire night explained everything to me. And that's when I really started getting into this stuff, because that's what made me a believer of everything.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So, sorry, it looked like Luke had a question. Did you have a question?
No, go for it. No,
Oh,
go
okay.
for it.
So, since then, have you had any activity from the chair, or?
I have not. I still have the chair in my closet, and nothing has necessarily happened with it. I haven't been able to get rid of it, but like, it feels like I can't get rid of it.
Mm.
But it feels like it's just like a big part of my life. What really brought me and Alyssa together, that I just can't really get rid of it.
Sentimental.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, is there any like places that you would really like to go investigate, like dream places? You know what I mean?
When I would watch Sam and Colby religiously, I really wanted to go to, I think it's called the Goatsman's Bridge or something.
Oh yeah.
I really wanted to go there. Another one I wanted to go to from them, I think, oh my gosh, what's the name? I wanted to go to the Queen Mary B340, but they completely shut that down. So it's not open to investigators anymore, which that made me really upset. I was like, I really wanted to go there, but I can't anymore. The Driscoll Hotel.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when
I never heard about the Disco Hotel.
that place is pretty up there.
Yeah.
I really liked watching their video about it.
I'd like to go to Bob Mackey's, but I don't think they shut that one down, didn't they?
They relocated or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. There was that one, and then there was like this music recording studio where like the Beatles and everybody would go and hang out and stuff.
Yeah, I seen that on Ghost Adventures. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah. Have you
I watched.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I watched a show on TV the other day. It's like the top 12 most haunted places in like the United States, and it was pretty cool. The Bell House would be a cool place to go. Have you ever heard of the Bell House?
I don't think so.
It's like the Bell Witch or something like that. She like haunts this house and the property, and it's some crazy shit goes on.
So are you a part of an investigation group? Do you have your own group, or just kind of solo, or?
Usually whenever I do go investigate places, it's usually with Alyssa and Jaden, but I do sometimes go off on my own if I can. I can't necessarily drive yet, so whenever I'm able to find a place pretty close by that I can investigate that looks really cool, I usually walk there and I just scope it out a bit, and then I text Alyssa, I'm like, hey, I don't really want to investigate this place by myself. You want to come over and do it with me? And usually she does, and usually it's me and her that do it.
That's cool. Isn't there Brady's Tunnel. Isn't Brady's Tunnel in Washington haunted?
I think. I don't think I've heard of it, but I think it's like I've heard of it, but not heard of it.
Oh, okay.
I never heard of it.
Like I've heard the name, I don't necessarily know about it.
it might have just been a big thing like amongst like my friends and stuff growing up, because everybody was like, oh yeah, we go to Brady's Tunnel, go sneak over to Brady's Tunnel. Maybe I just made it haunted. Who knows? It probably wasn't even haunted. It was just.
You talking about it made it haunted. Come on, man.
That's it. Hey, it's possible. I think we can collectively manifest things on an energetic level.
Yeah, you say so many bad things about something, then it does become bad.
There's a. Have you ever been out to Perryopolis at all?
I have not.
There is a cemetery out there that I don't think that it's open to the public anymore, but it had this one-room church, and actually I don't even know if it was a church. It was a very small building with a dirt floor, and like we looked up into the chimney, so there was a chimney on both sides, or a fireplace, and we looked up inside, and like there was all these like sticks and stuff that was like crossed, like almost like it was trying to prevent something from coming down in or either going back out. Oh, I thought I woke a baby up. But me and my mom went and investigated. I had this old Radio Shack radio that I converted into a spirit box, so it wasn't the best. And
it was still something.
Yeah, it was something. Oh, it was something. So we're in this building, and we're using the radio, and you know how well, it stops, and it's this guy, and he's talking in a different language, and he just keeps repeating himself, like in a chanting kind of a way. And my mom's like, hit the button. So I hit the button, and it started doing it again. And then it stopped on another channel, and it was this little girl talking about the Holy Ghost and backsliders and how you need to like protect yourself from demons and stuff like that. And my mom's like, pack it up, and we're gonna slowly walk out of here. You can't let them know you're scared. I'm like, Mom, I think they know. But it was an interesting place to investigate. There was a tombstone or a headstone there that had some writing on it that said something along the lines of, if you read this, you'll die the same way that I did. It was like a poem. It was kind of dark.
That's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would like to continue to read it if that was the first sentence of the poem.
I'm a risk taker too. I'll deal with whatever comes as it comes. Have you ever messed with a Ouija board or anything like that?
I have.
What do you think about it?
Whenever I used it, it was like 2-3 years ago, and I haven't touched one since. But nothing really horrible happened. I think it's just because I was afraid to use it from all the stories that I've heard. But it's also one of those things where I feel like if I got one again and I went out like in the middle of nowhere, like to this woods that's right across the street from where I live, and I used it there at night, I feel like I would catch some crazy stuff through it. Yeah.
I got to use one at the Ross house in Bel Air, Ohio. Have you ever heard of the Ross house?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing happened. I mean, I don't know if that's an unfortunate event or not, but I'm a skeptical believer, so I went in hoping something would happen, but was disappointed when nothing did. I think it's just like another way to communicate, like tarot cards and stuff are.
Yeah, it just gives it a bad name. People give it a bad name.
So what other crazy stories do you got for us?
I can think. I do have one that Alyssa told me before her and I met, when her grandma, I think her great grandma, ended up passing away. They lived about kind of right up the street from me. And in their house, their grandma, every time they would do something, her grandma would either turn the lights off or would end up throwing something across the room.
Oh.
She was a very active sort of spirit,
Mm-hmm.
but wasn't harmful because she was family.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they would come home and their entire living room was trashed, or they would come home and everything was just turned off and stuff was unplugged. I was with them the one time and we came home and their entire fridge was emptied out. Everything was all over the counters and stuff was just everywhere. We had no idea what happened. And I was like, Alyssa, did someone break into your house? And she was so calm about it. She was like, no, it's just my grandma. And I was like, this happens often? What?
Yeah, grandma emptied out the fridge. Yeah.
I'd be pissed.
Okay.
I'd be mad as hell. I come home and my refrigerator is empty. I'd be so mad.
That's too funny. At least it's not like a bad thing. I mean, unless the meat goes bad or something, or the eggs, then that might be the worst. Oh man. Luke, did you have any other questions?
Yeah, thank you for reaching out to Chelsea and be like, hey, I'd like to come on the podcast. So it's
Yeah,
cool
this
to
was
have you
fun.
on.
Yeah, Chelsea ended up telling me about it because I was actually talking to her about the Sam and Colby stuff and how I was into paranormal. And she was like, you know, my fiance, right?
Yeah.
My fiance has this paranormal channel and a podcast, and they're on YouTube and stuff. And I think they would enjoy to have you on there so you could tell them your stories. And I was like, you know what? Sure. Why not? I like trying out new things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's whenever I reached out and stuff, tried to
Yeah.
at least. And I'm actually really glad I did this today.
Yeah, it was fun.
really-
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, you're welcome back on anytime. Anytime.
She's actually right here, reading her book.
Yeah, she told me she was reading.
Oh, baby's awake and is now tearing into everything on the bed. So,
Uh-oh.
In that case.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Lucas. We appreciate your time. And like I said, if you ever want to come back on and tell us some more stories, then you're more than welcome to.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Hey, you have a great weekend.
You too.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks everybody for listening to another episode of Exploring Unknown. We really enjoyed talking to Lucas about Dead Man's Hollow and the encounters she had and the different stories about the paranormal. If you haven't already, please go check out the YouTube Exploring the Unknown and subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications every time we go live or post a new episode. And down in the description, we have the link through GoStop. If you purchase anything through that link, it will help support the show. And if you don't feel comfortable purchasing anything through that app, go to exploringtheunknownpod.com and we have a Cash App in PayPal. You can send us a small donation. And while you're on the website, go check out our merch. We have official Exploring the Unknown hoodies and t-shirts. Also, if you have any encounters with any paranormal or cryptids or UFOs like that, reach out to us on the website or anywhere you can find us. Facebook. Reach out through Facebook and tell us your story. There's a chance to be on a future episode.
Yeah.
That's all for the podcast mention.
That's all for podcast mentions. Cool. I have a Would You Rather. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Would you rather uncover the truth behind the disappearances and ghostly legends of Dead Man's Hollow, knowing the knowledge will haunt your mind forever and alienate you from others who can't understand your experience? Or leave the mystery unsolved, preserving your peace of mind, but always feeling an inexplicable pull to return, as if the hollow is calling you back.
That's a hard one.
What happens if you do the first thing? Knowing the knowledge will haunt you forever and alienate you from others who can't understand your experience. That's regular life as I know it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's already happening.
But the second one's already happening too, because it's like when you get back to that house and be like, I'm gonna do more investigating.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a double-edged sword.
I probably have to go with the second one.
The second one? Keep the mystery alive.
Yeah, I like the mysteries.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I wonder about that. Like, after we find Bigfoot and confirm the rest of these cryptids and things, like, then what? Like, we're gonna be out of a job. we ain't gonna be able to continue. Everything will be known.
Yeah, but people will still have stories.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. People still will have stories.
So you want to wrap it up for this episode?
Yeah, I think that wraps it up. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and remember,
Till next time.
Until
Keep
next time.
You
know what? We'll get it. I promise. See you guys.
See ya.